Hey guys, welcome back to another Java video tutorial, and today's video we're going to be talking about data types in Java. Now, data types specify the different sizes and values that can be stored inside of a Java variable. There are two different types of data types within Java. There's the primitive data type, which is what we're going to be going over in today's video, and then there is the non-primitive data type. The primitive data type are the basic building blocks of all data manipulation within Java for the most part. There are 8 of them, and they include Boolean, Byte, Char, short, int, long, float, and double. And I'm going to pop up a little video right here that or a little photo right here that shows you kind of the breakdown of the primitive data types and how they break down a little bit further. But basically, there are 8 of them, and they are the basic building blocks of data manipulation within Java. So they're used to do, what programming languages are for. So, first things first, we're going to go over the Boolean data type, which you see here. The Boolean data type is used to store only two possible values, true or false. It's just used to track true or false conditions within the Java programming language. So, for example, you'll see it a lot in if-else statements, while loops, for loops, do-while loops, all sorts of things like that where you're going through iterations of things and stuff like that. And we'll see Boolean data type a lot in our tutorial series. But that is pretty much Boolean. So as you see here, there are only two possible values, true and false. And then we have the byte data type, which we will see here. The byte data type is another primitive data type, which is a integer value. It is the values for it lie between -128 and 127. So if the value you are looking for is within those two numbers, within that range, you're good to use the byte data type. Now, bytes are really common because they save memory in large arrays where the memory saving is required. So if you're using a lot of big arrays and you need to make sure to save a lot of memory in your development, you'll use bytes as long as the values lie between that range there. So we have shorts, which are very common to bytes. They're simply just a little bit bigger range, or a lot bigger range, I guess you could say. But basically, it's for the same thing. It's used to save memory in large arrays, where basically the memory saving is important, like bytes, but your values are bigger. So you need to have some more, more room in your range to kind of get more numbers in there. So obviously, a little bit bigger in memory, but not as big as ints, which are the default data type for all integer values, or integral values as they call them. So integers are just basically, as you see here, another range from negative, it's a big number here, negative, I believe this is 2,147,483,648 to 2,147,483,647. So basically, that is your integer range, and that's just the default data type for integral values. It's just if you have an integer and you don't have any decimal places or anything like that, you usually use ints. It's just a common thing. It's the convention in the Java programming language, and in most programming languages you will notice as well. Everyone just uses int for the most part, unless you need to use short or byte in special use cases. Now we have longs. Longs are another data type, but they're much larger in value. They're used when you need a range of values more than those provided by ints, which, as you see here, are vastly larger. I'm not even going to try to say what this number is, but it's a much larger number, and basically it's just for when you need a range of values that are more than what int can offer you. And now we have floats. Float is another data type, but it's kind of getting like doubles, and we'll talk about doubles in just a second. Double or floats are just used. They have decimal places, and they're used to save memory in large arrays for floating numbers. So as bytes and shorts are the integers, a float is like it to a double, where it's used in large arrays to save memory for floating numbers, so numbers with decimals and things like that. And now we have doubles. Now doubles are like integers, but for numbers with decimal places. So the value range is actually unlimited, and it's the default data type for decimal values within the Java programming language. So you'll see int and doubles typically the most in whatever you're coding, and floats, shorts, bytes, longs, things like that you'll only see in special use cases, typically where you need to save memory on large arrays and things like that. And now we have chars. Now chars are a kind of an interesting idea here. So because we have the Unicode system, Chars are used as a single 16-bit Unicode character. Basically, A through Z, or 0 through 9, I believe, is what you can use in a char value. So basically, it's used to store one character in the Java programming language and have it saved as a Unicode or a single 16-bit Unicode character. So if you just need one letter or one thing like that, you just use char. And so if you see here, we're going to run this here. Just do a quick little run on our function here, where I have some nice little system out prints here. We have one value of Boolean is true, one value of Boolean is false. The lowest value of byte is negative 128. The highest value of byte is 127. And then we have the short lowest value, the highest short value. Then we have the lowest value of an int, the highest value of an int, the lowest value of a long, the highest value of a long, and then we just have an example of a float, an example of a double, and an example of a char because their ranges are either non-existent in the case of double or just so big that I don't want to have to bore you with trying to show you how big they could actually be. But that is it for primitive data types in the Java programming language. Stay tuned for the next video where we will be talking about some more fascinating stuff in the Java programming language, and I can't wait to see you guys next time, and I'll see you then.